Good morning, good afternoon, good night. This is Ethan with Blue Bunny Books, reading Rakkety Tam Chapter 30. There's a muskrat on a drum. Let's get started, okay? The fire is burning low. The young dormice were asleep. Lupita Muscar picked up her broom and inside and cast it aside. I'll make a start at cleaning tomorrow, for peace rest without vermin belching and snoring all around us. Thank you both. I don't know what we'd have done without your help. If there's anything my family can do for you, then just ask. Doogie rolled himself in his plaid cloak by the embers. Mayhaps you could tell me the way to Redwall Abbey, marm. We'll be headed there after we've visited Euphish's wife at their home in the morrow. Mr. Muscar pointed. In 2 days' journey downstream. There's a raft just upstream that belonged to the vermin. You can take it and sail most of the way. When you see the rapids at the Big East Bend, leave the raft and walk west into the woodlands. You'll sight Redwall after a while. Euphis had settled down in a comfy and old armchair. A raft, eh? Say? That'll be grand. I like rafts. Dewey was about to drop off when something occurred to him. Bye, Rufus. You have seen the big drum around and most forgotten about it. The waterman yawned. Oh, that old thing. The vermin left it outside on the stream bank, 'cause there was no room in here. Don't you fret, Doogie mate. 'Twill still be there in the morning. Sleep tight now. No longer held hostage by the vermin, they all slumbered peacefully in the calm, homely warmth. Shortly before dawn, Doogie was awakened by one of the young drummers. Sir, where's your friend, Mr. Lightpaw? He's not here. The Highlander sat up, rubbing his eyes. Not here, laddie. Then where's the rascal gone, eh? The young dormouse had no idea, so Doogie arose and went out to the stormbreak to look. He went back inside immediately, girding up his numerous weapons. Lupita Muscar was rekindling the fire to breakfast. She noted the concern on Doogie's face. Mr. Plum, what is it? Is something the matter? Highlander clapped a paw to his belt. My traveling companion decamped, marm, and he's taken the drum with my dirk, too. She roused her husband. Muscar, go with Mr. Plum. See if you can help find his friend. Hurry, dear. The dormouse blinked sleep from his eyes. Come on, sir. We'll find him. He can't have gone far. The Muscar's opinion proved incorrect when he drew back the screen of bushes upstream. Oh dear, looks like Mr. Lightpaw sailed off on the raft. He's probably headed home. Doogie set his jaw grimly. Do you know where he lives, sir? Muscar nodded upstream. Mr. Lightpaw has a home up the way on the edge of a pond. I've been there before. In no mood for chit-chat, Doogie grabbed the dormouse paw. Aye, well, you can show me the way. Come on now, Muscar. I'm waiting to have a wee chat with my saucy robber. Robber? Muscar echoed in shocked tones. Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Lightpaw's a robber? The Highland yanked the dormouse energetically along the stream bank, muttering fiercely. Aye, a robber, a thief, a pilfer, a punner, a looter, call him what you will. Euphis steals anything that comes to paw. He'd have the eyes out your head if you weren't watching him. Muscar looked bewildered. Good grief, who'd have thought it? Mr. Lightpaw, a thief, and he seemed such a nice and jolly sort. Doogie smiled in spite of himself. Oh, it just goes to show that you never know who's living in the area nowadays, huh? They followed the stream bank and cut off west. As soon as Doogie Muscar came in sight of the lake, they immediately spotted Euphis outside his dwelling, pausily polishing the sides of the big drum. Every now and then he would strike the drum a few taps with the stick he had gripped in his thick little tail. His wife, Diggity, came out to complain. Would you stop belting that great thing? It's driving me scatty. You're like a baby with a new toy, you are. Euphis gave the drum a few more raps. Ah, sure, you've no ear for music at all, my little sugar plum. Well, you must hark to that good broom. He was striking the drum again as his visitors walked up. The Volmo showed neither apprehension nor surprise at the sight of Doogie. Faith, and was it I just saying to myself that me good mate Doogie Plume be along soon? I'd an idea that old Muscar knew the way, so I was sure he'd bring you. Will you not listen to the great boom of this drum to sound for heroes and warriors, so it is? Diggity greeted Muscar before questioning her husband. Who's the serious-looking squirrel, a friend of yours? Euphis gave the drum a resounding roll on his stick. That he is, me darling, a true blue pal in all weathers. Why, don't take Mr. Musker inside and put the kettle on for some nice mint tea. Myself and Mr. Plum have business to talk. We'll join you in a tick." The moment they were alone, Doogie spoke a flat, dangerous voice. "Where's my dirk?" Euphis smiled disarmingly. "Dirk, isn't that a funny old long dagger you carry? Sure you must have mislaid it, matey." The Highlander shook his head. "Don't matey me, you rogue." The claymore flashed out. Its point prickled the bull's throat. Doogie meant business. "Hear me, thief. If I don't have my dirk by the time you've counted to 3, you'll be drinking tea any more. 1, 2... The blade tip moved up and down as Euphis gulped. "Ah, wait, now let me think. The dirk, now let me see. Oh, I remember now. 'Tis hanging from the back of the door inside. I was taking care of it for you." Doogie used his claymore to motion the fourth inside. "It better had be, Euphis, or the bonny wee wifey of yours will make a bonny wee widow. Go on, you first." Just as the Highlander retrieved his weapon from the book behind the front door, Diggity placed a tray of pasties and some long, fat objects on the table alongside his tea service. "Mr. Plum, sit yourself down and take a sup and bite with us. The pasties are filled with wild cherry and rhubarb, but if you fancy something savory, then try me sausages. They're straight out of the oven, you know." Toogie inquired. "Sausages, Mom? Where are sausages?" The woolwife explained. "I invented them myself, sir. I take a mixture of ground barley, oats, and carrot, and mushrooms, and I wrap them in oil and skin, and bake them slow overnight. Every beast likes me sausages. Have one." "Oh, no, don't sit there, Mr. Plum. He doesn't like being sat upon, do you, Rock Bottom?" Doogie stood to one side, staring at what he thought had been some kind of stone seat. It looked like stone, though it was covered with a curious square pattern. Euphis rapped gently on the object. Doogie could not believe it when he was seeing a head emerge slowly from one end of the thing. It resembled a serpent's head, but it had a much friendlier expression, with a mouth more like a beak. The creature, its neck wrinkled and scaled, looked as if it were from another world. Diggity stood on a short distance from it, holding out on a piece of sausage. She spoke to it coaxingly. "Come on then, me beauty. Here's some of your mommy's sausage for you, me loving old Rock Bottom." Doogie's eyes grew wider as 4 scaly little limbs emerged from the beast. Opening its small pink tongue mouth, it trundled forward the food in the bullmice paw. Totally flabbergasted, Doogie scratched his tail in bewilderment. "Where in the name of moles and mountains did you get that beastie? What manner of creature is it?" Doogie fed her small friend fondly. "Oh, sure, your fish gave it to me as a gift. Keep me company while he's out roving goodness knows where." Doogie grabbed the Volmi's whiskers and tweaked hard. "Where did you steal it, and what do you know the truth?" Euphis came up on tip-paw, and Doogie tweaked harder. "Ow, let go of me, murdering hooligan. I never stole it on me honor as a thief, I did." "Youch, get off." Doogie released him, listening whilst the wolf related his story. "'Twas a curious thing to be true, as you hear. One morning I was sitting fishing in the lake with me back against the sycamore tree. Well, there me, trying to catch a sly old perch I've been after all season, when right beside me the earth starts to move. Ho, so is myself. Come here, me mole, and who's lost his way? It wasn't a mole at all. Some beast must have filled a hole near the tree with a pile of moss and dead leaves, 'cause all of a sudden it comes old Rock Bottom, calm as you like. Then me troubles over onto the back of his shell with the effort of climbing out, do you see? So there's him lying and looking at me, and there's me sitting and looking at him. I says, 'Good day, and how do you do?' But the beast doesn't say a thing back to me, so I turned him over and set him back on his little legs. Then do you know what he did? He followed me back home without a word or by your leave. Doogie Jeannie took the little fellow right away, so did she did. We named him Rock Bottom, and he's been with us ever since. And grand old company he has too, aren't you, Rock Bottom, me old take your cake?" With eyes twinkling, the creature nodded its head as Diggity strode it levelly. "She's sure he's neither beetle, crab, nor newt, but I wouldn't be without me darling pet, not for anything." The truth hit Doogie like a bolt of lightning. That beast is a walking stone. It's the thing that old Gulu the Savage wants to get his paws on. At the mention of Gulu, the little creature shot his head back into his shell. Diggity squirreled, "Well, I don't have a moldy acorn who this Gulu is, but he's not getting me rock bottom." The Highlander nodded decisively. "No, he ain't, Mom, because rock bottom's coming back to Redwall Abbey with me." Euphis stood up, placing his paw aggressively on his dagger hilt. "Me Diggity's little pet leaves this place over my dead body. So what do you say that, me bold squirrel?" Quick as a flash, Diggity drew his dirk, rapping the violent thief's paw sharply. Then he laid the blade on Euphis's nose. "That can be easily arranged, me old saucy vole." Mr. Musker, who had sat silently downing sausages during the dispute, protested. "But you can't just march in here and take the creature away from the Lightpaws. That makes you a big thief as Euphis. And you pardon me saying, Mr. Lightpaw." Doogie thrust another sausage into the dormouse's mouth. "Ah, thank you to stay out of this, sir. Rock Bottom is going to Redwall, and so is the drum. You're coming too, Euphis. But before we get to the Abbey, you're going to take us to your hole in the stream bank, and we call it A, and that's where you hid Rakkety Tam Burl's claymore and the banner you stole when you escaped from the Abbey." Euphis pushed the blade aside from his nose and nodded. "Faith, you ain't as thick as you look, Mr. Plum. You've had your eye on me closely. I've forgotten about the sword and the flag. All right, friend, you win. I'll go with you." Now, as Diggity turned to protest, "Hold fast there, you ain't no train sipping and leaving me here all alone." Doogie shrugged, and then he back to his mom. The wife looked around at her neat home. "But who's going to take care of this place?" Mr. Musker volunteered. "Myself and my good wife, Lupita, will do that. Miss Lightpaw, if you'd be good enough to leave us a supply of your delicious sausages." Euphis suddenly took a shine to the idea. "Sure, we'll take the raft. It'll be a nice little trip downstream. And you'll love Redwall, Diggity Dee, my darling. It's a grand old place. Right then, let's get packed." Doogie sat down and began loading up a plate. "Not before I've helped myself to these victuals." And he immediately pronounced Diggity's sausages excellent. "Ooh, you never met a sausage until today, but I could have happily lived on them for the rest of my life, Mom." The vermin must have stolen the raft from this other beast, because it was a stout, well-built craft, and it rode the stream smoothly. Mr. Musker leapt ashore as he passed his dwelling, and the Dormouse family came out and waved farewell as they drifted off downstream, with Euphis and Diggity plying on the long paddled poles. The Highland squirrel watched the deep, quiet stream running silently by murmuring to himself as he wielded his paddle, "I hope Tam's looking after myself and not fretting about me too much." Alright, next chapter is 31. Tune in next week to find out what happens.